So, hi folks. So this week we're going to be reading about chapter 2, and then we have a couple of interesting articles. So look at chapter 2, and it talks about healthcare data quality. So one of the things that why we are talking about this chapter is, as you know, that data is not useful unless it is it is formatted, and it is able to provide information that uh, a hospital or organization needs. So, for example, if I have data about uh, 100,000 patients visiting a cancer center, um, and I basically have data about all the information about their medical history, their past, their current, what kind of treatment they're receiving, what sort of progress they're making. All this data is in there. However, this data is not correctly formatted, or there are a lot of redundancies in the data, or the data is incomplete. So what happens is I really cannot use that data for useful purposes, or that data it's hard to convert into some form of useful information for that cancer center to be able to apply to perhaps improve their cancer treatment plans, or provide information to their doctors on the progress of patients based on a specific treatment plan, and so on and so forth. So when we talk about data or information quality, information is processed data, and healthcare information is processed healthcare data. Um, this shows you how we can convert data into useful information and knowledge. Talks about problems with poor data quality. How do you ensure good quality data? Then what are the things that one has to look for ensuring data quality or information quality? What are the types of data errors, causes of poor quality data, like I was talking to you about? Then strategies for improving this quality of data. So, for example, any hospital that is maintaining a data of the patients visiting their premises, that data has to be accurate. It has to. It doesn't have. It shouldn't be incomplete. It should not have any redundancies. It should be able to be easily transformed into information and useful knowledge. What are the activities you can perform to improve data quality? What are the things you can do to detect error detection in data, and using IT to improve data quality? EMRs, or electronic medical records, improve legibility and accessibility. And then, so basically, this talks about some ways in which you can improve data quality. Sort of aligned with these readings today, this week, 4 readings you have. One of the things that I want you to look at is big data. What is big data essentially? And this is a McKinsey report, a 6-page report. Big data is underway in healthcare. Starts with vastly increased supply of information. Over the last decade, pharmaceutical companies have been aggregating user research and development data into medical databases, while payers and providers have digitized their patient records. Meanwhile, the U.S. federal government and other public stakeholders have been opening the vast stores of healthcare knowledge, including data from clinical trials and information on patients covered under public insurance programs. Parallel, recent technical advances have made it easier to collect, analyze information. So, big data is nothing but large amount of patient data. When big data in the context of healthcare is patient data, large amount of patient data. I was talking about the cancer institute or cancer treatment center. Say, for example, they have data about patients that are visiting and receiving cancer treatment the last 20 years. So let's say we're talking about 20 million. I'm just throwing out a number. So that's the size that we are talking about, big data. Now, what happens? Why are we talking about big data? Why is this big deal about this big data? Now, with big data, there are analytics tools or analytic tools that allow scientists to find out patterns in that data. So, for example, I'm looking at a 20-year data about 20 million data points about cancer patients who have been receiving cancer, and I find out from the data, from the big data, using analytics software, that there's a certain treatment plan that works for every patient. Well, first off, that's great information, right? That scientists, whoever was able to find that information and basically sort of understand that information, can pass on that information to the doctors in the cancer center and say, hey, look, doc, this is what's working for you, so why don't you go this way rather than going that way? So that's what big data helps. Okay. Now, improvement at scale. What is the potential? So this talks about the potential of big data, the few caveats, of course, like privacy issues. So this is about big data. Now coming on to business intelligence. Okay, business intelligence. This is what, when you have big data, what do you do with that kind of data? How do you make sure that that information, that big data, that large data set that you have, database that have, how can you convert that to useful information and knowledge for yourself, to become a better doctor, to become better hospital, to improve patient outcomes, to improve patient quality care? So let's look at it. It talks about understanding business intelligence in the context of healthcare. In today's fast-changing healthcare sector, people who make decisions, there's a demand for clinical and administrative information in order to comply with legal and customer-specific requirements. Use of business intelligence is seen as a possible solution to this actual challenge. And existing research about BI is primarily focused on the industrial sector. It is the aim of this contribution to translate and adapt the current findings in the healthcare context. So business intelligence is a way to understand the data, come out with the right information, and apply that information to improve business performance. And in this context, when we talk about healthcare, improving business performance is directly focused on improving patient care, improving patient treatment outcomes. So there's definition of business intelligence, the framework for healthcare, and you know, there's then just look at these consequences for the future. And in other industries, it now seems rather commonplace to regard BI as an important driver. So for example, I'll give you an example. We talk about other industries, retail, right? So Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, Walmart. Let's take the example of Walmart. So they have millions and millions of customer data, right? Customers are purchasing from the Walmart store at the point of sale. They're doing online shopping, and so Walmart wants to understand, okay, for a specific group of patients, for a specific group of customers, what are their likes and dislikes? So let's say that Walmart at Beaumont wants to understand during the holiday season, what do the customers prefer? Do they buy a lot of candy, or do they buy a certain type of gift a lot? So based on that, that's business intelligence. They have the data, they have the customer transaction data. So they look at the purchases, millions and millions of transactions, okay? And they come up with a pattern. And that pattern is basically recognizing intelligent recognition of what's there inside your data. And that is business intelligence for you. Amazon, just imagine Amazon. How many transactions do you think happens within 24 hours? Millions and millions and millions. And Amazon wants to essentially improve their business. They want to keep the products in their online store that sell a lot. Okay, so let's say you want to buy a headphone for yourself. So they know that, okay, expensive headphones, maybe that's not the first choice. So what they do is they understand the customer preference. And how do they understand the customer preference? They mine for the data. They do intelligent mining, business intelligence. They do business intelligence and come up with the preferences, the choices of customers. So that's what they're trying to say, is that even if you apply that in business intelligence aspect in healthcare, you have a lot of knowledge about what kind of treatment plan works for a certain group of patients, what's not working, what do patients like, how can treatment of patients be impacted the most. So these are the things that can come out of business intelligence. Okay, so this is a good read. And then the third article is data mining and healthcare. So data mining is basically mining information, and when we talk about that, it's kind of similar to what we talked about, is that you look at the data and you mine for useful information that will be useful to improve patient outcome, useful to improve quality of care. Okay, then when analytics falls short, this is a short read. So this is interesting because I want to show you this. Okay, so when we talk about business intelligence, business analytics, it's kind of the same interchangeable terms. When we talk about analytics, business analytics, it's like, okay, you have this big data, large databases. You're analyzing the data to come up with a solution for a problem, or to improve your product, or to decide on a specific line of treatment for a specific group of patients. So that's analytics, that's business intelligence for you. However, there are times when analytics may not be the answer. So that's what this talks about. The joys of unintended consequences never end. The Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, which you talked about, came about in 2010, more popularly known as Obamacare, required hospitals to get paid based on how much they improve their patients' health rather than how many tests and procedures were completed. So remember, I talked about, one of the weeks I talked about accountable care organizations. That's what this is about. This is the theory or concept behind accountable care organizations. It's not about how many patients are visiting. It's not about the quantity. It's about the quality. So let's say, again, I'm repeating that example. So let's say that a hospital, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services is providing funding to the hospital, providing reimbursement for patients that come into the hospital. Those are Medicare and Medicaid, okay? And a patient who's a Medicare patient comes in for a heart surgery and has to be readmitted within 30 days of being discharged from the hospital after the surgery. That hospital that federal government or the CMS will not provide the patient fees, the operational, the surgical procedure fees, and all the other costs will not be reimbursed to the hospital. Okay, so this is exactly what this is talking about. But some data brokers saw dollar signs in those changes and have started mining patients' payment card, public records, and loyalty programs, using that to create risk profiles, which they are then selling to hospitals and insurance companies. So this is kind of like the, what do you call, the dark side of data mining, or dark side of analytics. So for example, I'll give you a simple example. So if some analytics company has information about your credit report, and they're using that information in a bad light. So let's say you go to get some to get a loan for your home, or to get a loan for your car, and they have that information that they were not supposed to have been provided with by these organizations, and so that's obviously something that's bad. That's bad. The bad side of data mining or data analytics, and that's what exactly they're talking about. For asthma, they look at pollen counts associated with current residents, as well as cigarette purchases, plus pharmacy records indicating whether prescriptions are being refilled regularly and on time, suggesting compliance according to business report. Although there are absolutely privacy issues raised, there are some initial limits. However, it's unclear how long these limits will remain in place. For example, individual information is analyzed and massaged by the data broker, which turns into a series of risk numbers, but the hospital isn't told the purchase public record facts that went into these crunch numbers. In other words, the hospital won't be told that a gym membership lapsed or that 20 pizzas are being ordered a week, but will solely see what the weight gain risk increase are. So these are the flip sides. You have to understand that any technology, anything has all flip sides, and it is upon the federal government, the governing agencies, to make sure that a certain technology such as analytics does not use in a bad way. So I wanted you to read this. As a very short read to see how the bad side of analytics too. There are a lot of good sides to it. So with that said, that completes the readings and the chapter for this week. Good luck with all your readings. One of the things, again, you have to understand is that when we are talking about healthcare and technology, there's so many aspects. Okay, I've talked about technology that directly impacts patient care, right? We talked about mobile apps. We talked about remote monitoring of patients. We talked about EMRs. We talked about CPOEs, computer provider order entry systems. We talked about wearable devices, wearable technology. But big data is a type of, it's a kind of, I won't say it's a revolution, but big data. So nowadays, it's not the problem is not about gathering information, but sifting through the information so that information can be used to make intelligent business decisions. And that's what this week's readings are focused on. Okay, so you have big data, you have big healthcare data, you have 10 million, 20 million, 30 million patients' data. What do you do with that? How do you improve patient outcome? How do you tell the doctors that this is how you should be treating patient rather than the other what you are doing? So that's what we should be focused on when we are talking about big data, when we talk about analytics. Remember, business intelligence, business analytics, these terms are used interchangeably. Analytics is a way to mine data. It's a way to mine all that huge information databases that you have, and to make intelligent business decisions for your business. With that said, good luck with this week's readings and chapters.